What if you could send one email and land a job with your dream client? Well, that's exactly what my client Mowgli did when he landed not just one, but 5 video gigs with one of LA's top resorts in just the last few months. And in fact, they loved him so much that they actually asked him to move to LA just so he could work with them more. And spoiler alert, he actually just moved. But here's the crazy thing. He didn't follow the mainstream advice of sending a portfolio or a media kit, and in fact, what he did was so unconventional, but it made all the difference. So in this video, I sat down with Mowgli to talk more about his story, but more importantly, you'll learn why the marketing person not only responded to his email, but also scheduled a meeting for that same day. The biggest shift that he made in his pitch that makes his client say,
like, he just literally emailed like, dude, wow, just I'm blown away. Let's get this done. I'll take the biggest package.
And his advice for creators looking to land more high-ticket clients. By the way, if you want to work with me personally to blow up your content business like we did with Mowgli, then just click the link in the description below to apply for a free game plan call. Could you walk me through where you were at this point, like last year, because we've been working together like maybe 9 months or so. What made you decide to kind of make a shift?
Oh man, 9 months ago. So I was still in the Bay Area, but around that time in the Bay, things were getting like kind of slim pickings with gigs, and just didn't really have direction. My previous clients just had like gnarly budget cuts, and I'm like, what's going on? And I just got back from like travels, and like, why are coffees $8, $10 latte, whatever it is? I just kind of hit a point where I've been running my photography video business for since 2015, and kind of got a chance to dabble into every single like niche of photography, from events to wildlife to working with hotels, to all sorts of stuff. And I kind of hit a plateau in my learning, I think. And because I'm like all over the place, like, people don't really sometimes don't take me seriously. They're like, oh well, this guy does portraits, this guy shoots bears in the wilderness, this guy is a travel photo documentarian. So like, what is he? So I mean, when I saw your stuff, I'm like, huh, that got me kind of thinking I should probably try to focus on one thing and niche to, make a sustaining living doing what I do, especially with the times have changed. So yeah, that's when I hit you up.
Yeah, no, totally. I think that's a place where a lot of people were, myself included, where it's just kind of like whatever pays the bills at the time. Like, sure, I'll go for it. And I think that's also another thing that a lot of people struggle with is like maybe you are interested in nature photography, but also hotels, but also brands and like all this stuff. And it's like I don't want to pigeonhole myself into it. So, what was kind of the thought process, or what kind of made you realize, oh wait, maybe I should go all in? And that doesn't mean I can't shoot the other stuff, but like I need to go all in on something.
Yeah, well, to me, I think it was fairly simple. It's like, what are my most passionate things I like live for? Number one, travel. I've always traveled since I was like a wee little child of like 6 years old, with traveling with my family, um, a nomadic background, really. And so I'm like, well, I know how to shoot restaurants. I know how to shoot lifestyle. I know how to shoot travel excursions. I will do whatever it takes to get that shot. Um, I'm like, why don't I just get paid while I travel and, like, make a living doing that? I know people do that. So I'm like, maybe I should try that. So it was kind of like a somewhat of an easy realization, I guess. I just in the past I just didn't really take it seriously. Um, but because I you have the same passion in travel and have a pretty successful like career at doing it. I'm like, let me pick this guy's brain, see how maybe he can help me out. And sure enough, man, you have helped me out greatly. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. I'm stoked. I'm stoked to see like how much you've grown to in the past few months. It's amazing. Um, but okay, so going back, so you made that realization. You're like, man, I can actually do the travel thing. Because before you were kind of doing concerts and events and some corporate events and stuff like that as well, right? But was there a period of time where you kind of started to see writing on the wall where it's like, oh, maybe those gigs are drying up, or it's becoming more competitive, or um, Was there anything like that kind of like spurred the decision as well?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like from how I've been working, how things have been flowing in my career is take the corporate gigs, even if you don't love it, they pay the bills. On top of that, do the passion projects that doesn't really pay the bills, but like helps you create, helps you get better as a storyteller, cinematography, composition, whatever. And I try to like blend those two together as much as time allows and energy. So and then I guess like last year, both of those kind of like were a little off the scale, like off balanced. And I was like, well, what's going on? Sometimes this just, is uncontrollable where, your point of contact of that client is like, dude, I, this is what our budget is now. Sorry, I can't pay what we usually pay. And I'm like, okay. And you expect me to deliver the same quality? That's not going to work out, man. So, I kind of just like, I can keep on doing passion projects. Fine, I'll just go travel and like clear my mind. Once I come back, it should be fine. It wasn't fine. It got worse, really. Um, so even if I dabble to so many different avenues of photography, like, going on tour with artists, doing photography and video, um, music videos, documentary type of projects, they're never really consistent. It doesn't last forever, So I'm always hopping on to the next gig. Hitting up my past clients. I'm like, yo, what's up? Your photos are kind of old. Want to do another reshoot? Blah blah blah. And yeah, I feel like as much as I try to reach out to all these different types of clients, none of them are really sustaining, you know? So, yeah, in a nutshell, that spreads myself a little bit thin because I do too so much. Um, it's like sometimes they don't take me seriously in a way, even though they know that I deliver really good work, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I think that brings up a good point is like, because you're a really talented dude, you're really good at storytelling, cinematography, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people are in that boat as well, where they're talented too. And they're like, well, what the heck? Like, why are people not hiring me? So I guess once you had the call, I think you talked with Sky. What was it about the program or your talk with Sky that really made you be like, yeah, this is the move?
Well, basically, I wanted to have the least amount of friction possible because, like, we're all kind of guilty about this. The business, cold calls, outreach part, prospecting is not the sexiest. I actually didn't do any of that in my previous career, which I've been very grateful for. I've been lasting this long without doing that. But now it's like, all right, how do I level up from that? I feel like I should get good at the stuff that I suck at. So when I hit you up and Sky was talking about, like, hey, Nash is like an expert at this. When it comes to outreach, prospecting, kind of like marketing, and really like hyper focusing with the type of client you want to work with, not just like here's the secret handbook to getting whatever you want. It's more like it's like a tailored thing. So I'm like, all right, well, instead of me trying to figure stuff out, spending a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of just probably a lot of failures. I don't, why not like learn from this guy's failures because he's been doing this way longer, much longer than I have. So I'm like, all right, well, that's an easy investment. If anything, education is the part where I like to invest in instead of like gear. Guilty though. Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
same.
I got a gear closet right over there. I'm like, oh boy. But then, if it comes when it comes to like your career and you're really like serious and want to make this happen, you would do whatever it takes to, level up. And
Mm.
I saw that opportunity with you.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much for putting your trust in me. That's super cool. I'm honored. So when we started working together, we kind of hit the ground running, and we really switched up. Number one, who you were even serving, who you were shooting for, but number two, like I think more importantly, kind of your actual offer of what you were presenting, and like how you were selling it essentially. So can you walk me through maybe some of those biggest shifts, maybe the top two or three things that you noticed in terms of what you changed and the difference in the client responses? Like I know you messaged me one time, you just like presented the proposal template that we have is like 50 pages or whatever to a client, and they're just basically like shut up and take my money kind of thing
Oh
um,
yeah.
for the biggest package. So what do you feel is the difference there in terms of like how the sell was versus maybe what you were trying before?
Well, dude, I've never done a like uh the prospecting sheet, let alone like a video sales letter or just like a proposal sheet that I send off. I never used to do that. I mean, at most we'd hop on the phone because it's usually a referral to a referral or whatever. So we have that kind of connection. But when it comes to like a total stranger or whatever client you want to work with, yeah, I've never done that. But when working with you and finding um, that type of like proposal sheet, yeah, that past client is just was really just wowed about like how tailoring the services I can provide for him with like my past work involved in that, and just saying like basically like if you don't hire me, you're not gonna survive the business. Just kind of pushing them to like that's the game, man. It's like you have to like convince them that this is the only way to like keep doing business
Hmm.
is content creation, just photography and video, and debunking those like obstacles that they might have in their heads of like, eh, you're kind of expensive. I can get my like niece to do it because she's 16 and does it all the time, yada yada. But as soon as I like present that proposal, it's really nice and laid out, professional looking. I do spend like a good amount of time to do that, just so that because like the amount of time effort on the proposal sheet is like you'll actually save more time later down the line because as much more detailed, as much more transparent as you can provide to the client, the less you're talking to him on the phone and be like, all right, like he just literally emailed like, dude, wow, just I'm blown away. Let's get this done. I'll take the biggest package. And I offered him like three different package pricing,
Hmm.
and I basically just told him like, you're gonna, here are the offers. Let me know. And then yeah, he just took like the elite package. I'm like,
There you
yes,
go.
easy.
It's
Yeah,
about as easy as it gets, not
yeah,
having to convince people on the phone. Um,
yep.
yeah, dude, because that's actually something that kind of prevented me from taking sales calls for the longest. Is I was like, I don't want to be the like sleazy sales guy that's here like trying to hard sell people and all this kind of stuff. So I think that's one of the big benefits of setting up a proposal in that way and being able to be very transparent about everything. Because like you said, they either say yes or no, and you don't need to really hard sell them. So that's pretty cool. Um, so I'd love to get into as much as you're willing to share this project that you have with Fairmont. Would you be willing to share kind of how that came about? And because I think you have a very unique approach to it, but also I think it's something that people can learn from in terms of your work ethic as well.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So what is it like? Maybe like maybe fourth month working together. Me and at that time, me and my partner went to LA. We were still living in the Bay, and um, she always stays at the Fairmont, which is really close to her work, her HQ area. So I'm like, oh yeah, I can watch the dog. I can do my own work in the hotel. And I'm just like, when I got in here in the hotel, I was like just blown away with like, all right, so this is like a resort because I mean, I don't really stay at hotels, especially when I travel. I'm like hostel, kind of vagabond it up, but I'm like, you know what? Wait, this is a hotel. Me and Nash have been like working on getting these types of clients. And so as soon as I got familiar with the place, I actually wanted to get the Pocket 3. Oh, it's over there. The DJI Pocket 3 just to play around with, like a new toy. Because I don't know, I got off Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, I kind of want a small gimbal because I don't use big gimbals anymore. So I'm like, I want a pocket sized gimbal. So I was just literally test shooting around property and just like playing around with it. Took a bunch of B roll, and just like a little passion project, upping the portfolio of like this guy can shoot hotels and resorts. And so I kind of edited down short form, slap some dope music, and then I was like, what if I just find a marketing manager somewhere? Maybe they're just like walking around. Um, I actually went to the front desk and asked, like, hey, I'm staying in room, whatever. I'm actually a photographer, videographer. I'd love to get your marketing manager's email. Dude, didn't even ask, like, why? Who are you? Like, what? He's here you go. Here it is. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. That was like way easier than I thought. And so, I was like, I didn't finish the edit, but as soon as I got that card, I'm like, all right, crunch time. I'm going to set my timer 30 minutes, color grade, just put it in like a frame IO or something playable,
Mhm.
and totally wrote like, hey, in the templates that you provide when I joined the team. It's like, oh yeah, this is perfect. And then I linked that video that I was just playing around um, with this new toy because I didn't even know how to play with that thing, but it turned out pretty sick. And I sent it off, and then I think it was like maybe an hour later she got back to me super quickly,
Dang.
and I'm like, oh snap, okay. She was, I mean, I can pull it up, but she's basically like, whoa, really, like this is awesome, like this video is great. We don't have anything like this. Are you still on property? Shoot me a text. And
Mhm.
then I was like, okay, great. Shot her a text. Hey, Mowgli, nice to meet you. Want to meet for coffee downstairs in like 30 minutes? I'm like, what? Yes, of course. And I literally got in front of the marketing manager for the Fairmont that same day,
Wild.
I think. Like, yeah. And then I was like, whoa, she actually has time. Like, she made time to actually meet up with me because I know, like, anything with a manager role,
Hmm.
it has like no time,
Right.
like ever. But we chatted for like half an hour over coffee that she comped me for. I'm like, yes, free coffee.
Dang.
um and just chopped it up, man. And then yeah, since then I've been going back and forth. Like they've been giving me gigs and shot a bunch of events that they've been doing with like Hulu. And then Jason Momoa's band played. Aaron Paul was like promoting his tequila. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm just like shaking hands with all these. It's so LA, but you know what? I'm just like, okay, I think this is kind of working. So I'm utilizing that same technique of just like going to the front desk,
Hmm.
asking for the marketing manager's email, and just kind of taking my shot. Like you never kind of know unless you try.
Hmm.
So I mean, I usually say that to like other folks that want to get into this too. Like, even if you're maybe not as social as let's say you and I, uh, just shoot your shot. You never know who's gonna just like respond to you. Meet me in half an hour, and then I got like 5 gigs down the line just from like emailing. But with that email, I supported it with look what I shot on your property, and they'll respond. So, sorry,
Absolutely. And
kind of long story short, but
no, I think it's so cool, and there's so many lessons to pick out of it. But one of the really important ones that I picked out and that I think is really applicable to a lot of people is that you didn't go to the Fairmont and say, "Hey, can I stay for 3 nights and then I will shoot content for you." You're like, "Hey, I'm here. And like even if you weren't staying there, you could just shoot the thing anyways. But you're like, I'm gonna make this thing up front. I'm gonna provide value up front for something that you guys don't have and you actually need. And then when you provide that value up front, the marketing person immediately responds to you within an hour, is like, hey, let's meet up. But I'm sure if you approached it the other direction of like, hey, give me a free stay, like they would either refer you to the PR team or say like, nah, we're good, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like, how do you stand out the most? That's how you get closer to those like high ticket um, clients, and it's nothing beats that one on one, face to face relationship. Because in their head, they're like, "Oh wow, this guy's serious. He went all of his way." But it is true. I did drive there like 3 times.
Mhm.
Like, fine. I should just move to LA, and then boom.
Yeah. Now you're here.
Down here, yeah.
I think that's a really good point though, because I think especially with like the modern digital age, most people are more content hiding behind Instagram and just posting content and like hoping someone shows up, right? Or sending cold emails and like wondering why people ghost them. But like that's fine and all, but if you want to stand out, like how many people do you think emailed Fairmont over the course of the week that you were there? Probably quite a few. How many did she meet with? Probably one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true. They have this
So
whole influencer program, that
yeah,
they told me. I'm like, all right, well, I didn't see anyone else shooting like at those events, Oh,
yeah.
there's Jason's team, but that's his team. It's not like Fairmont or the Bungalows team. So
Mhm. So I think that the fact that you led with value there took you 6 hours maybe or whatever to do, but it's led to 5 gigs. Like you were in Oakland living there. Now they literally asked you to move to LA. Like that's a big reason you're there now, which is wild.
big time,
Um,
dude,
yeah,
big time. They
and then
just got number 4 on the Condé Nast like travelers guide, like top 15 hotels in LA, and like travel and leisure, um, uh, like name them whatever it is, some award.
mhm.
But they used my like drone photography, like my photo of
Wow,
like a killer sunset with the pool, palm trees, super LA, Santa Monica vibes.
yeah,
And I'm like, whoa, this is cool, man. This is like really crazy. Cause yeah, I mean, I've seen their stuff. I've done my research. I'm like, cool. Uh, it's old. Like the content's old. It's an old hotel.
yeah,
A lot of people have been like grandfathered in, so I'm like, I know they're not probably like needing bookings, but they do have a marketing team. I know they have a marketing budget.
yeah.
So it's like, it kind of just checked off, but yeah, it's wild. We have like it's just constant like, they're so cool too. Like the clients are super chill, and like
Mhm.
I really like them, they really like me, so it's like very very like it's a good relationship,
Mhm.
and pretty fun, exciting new projects coming up too that
Totally.
maybe I'll share later.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, once you actually do it.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
Yeah, but it's super sick. So like it basically went from free to like here's some cool events to like hey, we want to make you like a big time photographer that's like featured for us kind of thing.
Yeah, they're
Um,
like, wow, your stuff is so good. We just moved to LA already. That's when I screenshotted it and I send
yep.
it to you.
That's so like dude, that doesn't really happen. That's like a testament
That's
to
what
your
I mean. I'm like,
it's
holy
wild.
moly. And then I kind of did that. I'm in LA right now. I mean, it's not because of like the Fairmont, but like
Mhm.
kind of also, just things align, and when the opportunities happen, you gotta like, you have two choices. You either go for it or not. So I
100%.
usually go for the going for it, like YOLO,
Yeah.
and man, it's taken me to places, thankfully.
For sure. And I mean, it's just the beginning. Like you talked about some of the projects the other day that you have in the works potentially. And there's so much cool stuff on the horizon. So, what would you say to somebody who's watching this and maybe was in the same boat that you were a year ago at this point and they're feeling stuck, maybe working with random clients and they don't feel like they have direction. And maybe they're considering, joining the program, working with me, joining the community, all that kind of stuff. What would you say to somebody like that?
Um, if they're feeling stuck, don't really have direction, I'd say like just ask yourself honestly, where do you see yourself in 3, 5, 10 years? Um, and if it comes to the point where, you know, you want to work on different skills that you really have been kind of putting off, but you know you have to because that's how you like elevate your business, get those high ticking clients, and also do what you love doing for a long time, then, I would say, like, take the risk of investing in education. I mean, this doesn't have to be just like photography content creator, but like in every aspect of life. It's like, wouldn't you want to put yourself in the best position possible for like success? So, and then where do you see any like blockage in that timeline? Attack those blockages, whatever it, whatever means necessary, and you'll just get closer to your goal in that way. So, yeah, I just think like just constantly learning, especially in the things that like you've been kind of putting off, as hard as that, like easier said than done, right? But once I kind of made that shift, like things started opening up, in my life. And I know I'm not the only one that says, like, I mean, we can just go from like Gary V's to like other people, but they kind of essentially say the same thing. It's like, just go for it no matter what. Like, don't give up, in a way, as cheesy as that kind of sounds, but like it's kind of true. Um, there's living case studies about all that. So,
Yeah, no,
um,
I 100% agree, and that's the thing is like there's not that many truly professional photographers and videographers because it's so rare to find somebody who's willing to not only like withstand all the no's and the rejection and the like the meh part of the job, but also willing to invest in the skills that maybe they don't really want to learn, but know that they need to in order to be able to
mm.
make that shift. And like obviously you're an example of somebody who is willing to make that, and like the results speak for themselves, and it's so cool to see. Um, so yeah, dude, if somebody wants to see your work, where can they find you?
Oh, well, my website is just uh, themogli.com, THEMOGLI.com. My handle is also the Mowgli on Instagram and socials and stuff. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm so proud of you and all the success that you've had so far. It's going to continue, no doubt, into the future, but I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks so much, bro. I really appreciate it, man. It's only the beginning, and can't wait to share more stuff.